Okay, we're starting to broadcast, and Ellie, I need to hear from you about test 3 and cost. I need to hear from Jonathan, and I need to hear from Cole. You three. 4 people has taken the test. Monique and Savannah, Clayton. Who else? Oh, Terry took the test. And I'm going to cut this class short. About 15 to 11, I'm going to go over the test with everybody who's here, and that's Monique. Monique will know her grade today. I won't be live streaming the answer to the test. That's why I'll be cutting it off at 15 to 11. All right. Anyway, we've got a couple, 3 weeks left of the semester. I hope you don't give up, and I hope you don't quit. And I hope you have some class attendance before the semester's over. We're going to look at the chapter on I think I booted up costs there. I hope I did. We're going to look at the chapter on break even. We started that the other day. And if I can find my cost PowerPoint. What chapter is that break even on, Monique? Is that chapter 9 or? I'll be back when we can take a look. Okay, we'll get started now. Cole, I need you and Hillary and Jonathan to come up and take a test next week. I'll give you probably until next Wednesday. My office hours on Wednesday are 10 to 2. And if you don't take the test next Tuesday or Wednesday, I will have to record a 0. That is your deadline to take this test 3. Hate to put deadlines, but all right. We're going to look just a little bit at CVC, that's cost volume. You look back here at CVP, cost volume profit analysis. It applies to manufacturers, wholesalers, retailers, and service. Break even applies to everyone, every kind of business. We do know what variable costing is. Separates cost into fixed and variable components. Shows fixed costs in lump sums. The assumptions here, companies operate within the relevant range. Revenue per unit remains constant. Variable cost per unit remains constant. Total fixed costs remain constant. And mixed costs are separated into variable and fixed elements, which we've separated that before. with a high-low method. We separate variable and fixed. Variable cost remains constant, but maybe $5 per item, and $10 would be 50 variable cost. But if we had 12 items, that would be 60. So you see variable cost total changes, whereas fixed cost total, no matter how many units, if it's 5,000 fixed, it's 5,000 fixed. Now this is an important equation here. We looked at the other day, and we looked at this a little bit, and contribution margin ratio. Now break even, I told you that it would be fixed cost over 1, and 1 is the selling price minus variable cost. And if that were in dollars, that's easy to calculate. And we'll calculate it in units. Here we have contribution margin. We know that sales minus variable cost gives us contribution margin. So when we take selling price here minus variable cost, we've actually got fixed cost divided by contribution margin. Okay? And here, contribution margin is the selling price minus variable cost is contribution per unit, right here. Now, revenue minus total variable cost is equal to contribution margin in total. That's what I've got here. Revenue minus variable cost is contribution margin. That's what I have here. Sales, revenue minus variable cost is contribution margin. Then we take out fixed cost, and we get net income, or 0 if we break even. All right, your contribution margin ratio is your sales price minus your variable cost over the sales price. All right, let's put in some dollars up here. Let's say the sales price is $10. The variable cost is $8. Fixed cost is $5,000. Now break even on that would be 5,000 divided by 2. It'll be 2,500. Now we'll go down here and look at this formula right here. We've got sales price minus variable cost is 8. It's 2. That is your contribution margin. Now if we divide that by your sales price, which is 10, you can see that your contribution margin ratio is 20%. And this chapter wants you to calculate all 3 of these. Now, I do not want you to do the graphic approach. Even if you have problems on break even, you do not have to do the graphic approach. Break even is not hard though. You've got your activity level, somewhere you've got your break even in here. Anything below that's loss, anything above is a profit. You got your fixed costs and you got your sales price. All right, here's the formula I like. It's the one I always give you. I give you fixed cost over sales price minus variable cost. That's the formula I always like to stick with. Now that's in units, right? Now if I want break even in dollars, you multiply, you got a calculator, Monique? Multiply 12,500 by $12. That is your sales price by your units. $12 times 12,500. How much?
150,000.
Right now, 150. Now that's break even in dollars. But there's another way to calculate that. But here they're doing it just like they're doing it different here, okay? We know it's $150, but here you take, right, total fixed cost is 100, right? I'm trying to find a space here. All right, 1 is 100%. Okay, I'm going to change this different. Minus variable cost as a percent. All right, 100% minus variable cost. Now, variable cost here, let me go back and look, make sure. Variable cost is 4. Now, divide 4 by 12 in your calculator, Monique. All right, that's 1 minus 0.333. Now, that's 33 1/3%, or 333 to infinity here. Now, Monique, use my formula here. That's what they're doing here. They're dividing 12 into 8. But my formula here will work. Now, you're divided, when you take 1 minus decimal 333, you get decimal what? Decimal 667. Now divide decimal 667 into 100,000. They give you 150. All right, they did the same thing here. Except here they divided 12 into 8 and got decimal 667. But the true formula is 1 minus VC as a percent. That is the true formula. Okay, total fixed cost, sales price per unit, or 100% minus the variable cost as a percent. Now, I've always wanted you to do proof. Sales minus variable cost is equal to contribution margin minus fixed cost is profit, which is 0. Here, 12,500 times 12, 12,500 times 4, that leaves 100,000. Your fixed cost is 100,000. Set in a target profit if you want to make $30,000. This could be for a month, a year, or a day. You take your fixed cost plus your desired profit, salary, or net income. And you take your selling price minus your variable cost. Same formula, just put profit up there. So that's really dividing 80 into 130,000, which gives you $195,000. Now you should do the proof for that. Whoops. All right, we should do proof for this if I've got room here. Okay, let's see. We've got 195,000 sales. I don't know how many units. Okay, now Monique, take 100,000 plus 30 and divide that by 8. Divide 130,000 by 8. 16,000 what?
250.
All right, now keep that number in mind. All right. Now multiply that number by the sales price, Monique, 12. Multiply 16,250 times 12.
195.
Exactly. We did it in units here, and we did it in dollars here. Okay, now I don't have sales here, if I can use that margin, is $195,000. Now, variable cost, Monique, I need you to multiply 16,050 times, is it $4? Is that the variable cost? It is, it. Multiply 16,250 times $4. How much?
65.
That leaves a contribution margin of how much? How much, Monique? No, no, come on, dear. 195 minus 65. Crap, but I lost it. Over here again. Huh?
130.
All right. We got down to contribution margin being 130,000. Now we subtract fixed cost, and that is 100, isn't it? That leaves you 30,000, your desired profit, don't it? Okay. Here's the income statement proof on some other scenario. Here we want to make $60,000 profit. Now, here then, Monique, divide 160,000 by 8. 20 even. Right, now let's go over here. Multiply 20,000 times 12, right? And then 20,000 times 4. That gives you 160 contribution margin. Take out the 100. Profit before taxes, 60,000. All right? You wanted 60,000, profit before taxes. Now you take out 20% in taxes, and you got a net income after taxes. Now this is called variable costing in a variable costed income statement. We've done this income statement approach over and over to do break even or target profit. Incremental is that extra. Break even will increase when fixed costs increase. Break even will increase when sales prices decrease and variable costs increase. So we'll have problems with these three scenarios in them, okay? Multiple product, we looked at that a bit the other day. We got a sales price. We got contribution margin per unit. That means variable costs would have had to been 2. And variable costs would have had to been 1. So now we got our contribution margin per unit. Okay, your fixed cost is 8,000 total. So our $2 contribution margin times sales of 3 plus 2 times 1 equals 1,000 bags, break even. All right, you'd have to add 2 times 3 is 6, 7, 8. 8 into 8,000. That's really 8 into 8,000 gives you 1,000 bags. Here's your 1,000 bags. If we did a sales mix of 3, that's 3,000. And 2 times 1,000 is 2,000. That'd be your break even in units. 1,000. Every time we throw in our sales mix. Income statement proof. Sales is 3,000. Contribution margin is 2. Total contribution margin, 6 plus 2 is equal to 8. 8 minus the fixed cost gives you 0. Break even. Break even. And you should have these in your chapter, I hope. Margin of safety. Now you can use these formulas on the exam. Your next test is the exam. Margin of safety in units or dollars. Now, units is break-even units. Dollars is actually sales units minus break-even sales. All right. Actual unit sales. We'll have to look at that. This don't make sense yet. Operating leverage. High operating leverage means low variable cost, high fixed cost, high CM, high break even. All right, here is your operating leverage formula. You're going to have this on a test. If our contribution margin was $10,000 and fixed cost was 10, that'd be at 0. If your profit before taxes were 100,000, then your leverage would be 10%. We'll practice some of those. So you'll need to know operating leverage and margin of safety. All right, our actual sales is 200,000 units. Our break even would have been 90. Our contribution margin is 408. Our profit before tax is 224. So to do a margin of safety, well, I didn't want you to look at the other formula. Take your actual sales, 200,000 minus break even of 90. That would leave, okay, if you divide 110 by 200,000, you get 55%. That's your margin of safety. 110 divided by 200,000. Now your degree of operating leverage here is your contribution margin divided by profit before taxes is 1.8. So you can have those two formulas written down. Okay, now at the end of your textbook, I'm going to give you some problems, and hopefully you have these done by Tuesday. Hopefully more of you are here by Tuesday. All right, this is a short chapter. We've got to finish it. Okay, I want you to do all these different analyses. Had I made you any assignment at all on this chapter, Monique? All right, I want you to do break even. 1 and 2, problems 1 and 2. Do this by Tuesday. I want you to do problem 15. '16. Now these are short. I want you to do leverage. I want you to do number 26. That is margin of safety. 27 is leverage. All right. Back up also and do number 25, multiple products. Now, if you can do break even, margin of safety, operating leverage, and multiple products, we got this chapter with. Now, on your exam, and it's coming closer than you think, we will have break even, chapter 9. We will skip chapter 10. We will have chapter 11, which is allocation of joint cost. We'll have a little bit of chapter 13, that is capital budgeting. 3 chapters on the exam. We will finish up break even probably Tuesday. That'll give us about a week on each chapter to come. Okay, now I'm going to quit, I guess, recording today and go over, so it's a short lecture for most of you. Monique and I are going to go over her test. She took it, she's here.